Come in.
I am you from the future. There is no time to explain, but you are not safe here, and we need to go right now.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Does any part of this look like I am kidding? Move! Move! Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I am kidding, but like I couldn't pass up the opportunity to it was so funny, and you don't always visit your past self from the future. Like, how could you not do the whole Terminator bit? I'm sorry.
Wait, so are you actually from the future?
Yes. Future is true. The danger was a lie. I mean, there is no real danger, not unless everything goes as planned.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so here's the deal. I made sure to come back to this time so that you could film one half of a conversation sitting on your bed, and then film the other half down the road when you look like this.
That's strangely specific. Why do I have to do that?
Because when I was your age, my future self told me to do the same thing, so I did the first half then. Now I'm making sure that you do the same thing while I do the second half now.
When am I supposed to do this?
You're already doing it, see?
This is getting too meta for me.
Just don't think about it too much or your head will explode.
My head's gonna explode?
I said don't think about it.
Okay. So if I'm doing right now what you need me to be doing, then how do I know when to go back to my past self when I become you?
That is a good point. A couple hours before I made the jump back, I read an article about a Florida man who, I think he saved 2 dogs from an alligator. So after you read that, just wait a couple hours, you'll know how to make the jump.
This is a lot to remember. Hold on, I'm just gonna get a pen so I can write this down.
No, wait.
Okay.
You aren't supposed to write on your hand.
Why not?
When I wanted to remind myself, I put it in my phone. So put it in your phone.
Wait, this is just an ink pen. Do you not wash your hands regularly in the future?
Put it in your phone.
Sure, okay, I'm putting it in my phone. Why did you bring a gun?
To sell the whole Terminator bit. We thought it was funny, and my future self did the same thing for me.
Okay, no offense, but how much longer were you planning on staying here?
Well, the charge that sent me here is on a timer, so it'll be a few minutes until I'm back.
Wait, holy shit. Can I ask you questions about what happens to us in the future?
Depends what you're gonna ask me, but go ahead.
Okay, do we beat cancer?
I mean, I'm standing right here. What do you think?
Okay, yeah, that was kind of a dumb question. How about this? How does TikTok end up working out for us?
Well, you get to 30,000 followers, but you never get to be as famous as you think you actually are.
How's future Loki? Is he doing well?
Well, hell yeah, he is.
Oh,
baby
man,
baby
stinky
monkey
man, big man on set.
baby boy,
big old baby boy. Aw, baby Loki.
All right, what else do you want to know?
We're the same person.
This is true.
Is it gay if we kiss?
Can't ask me that, man. That's weird.
Sorry. Listen, I thought you would have said it to me or you when you were me in the past.
Yeah, I did, and it wasn't any less weird then.
Okay. I have a legitimate question. If time travel is possible, which it clearly appears to be, why didn't we go back to when we were 18? You know, when everything was shit and we could tell Matt that he's going to make it. You know, give him some hope when he needed it. I mean, even I have thought of that in hypothetical scenarios.
It did suck to be 18. But that awfulness did end eventually, right? Look, you met people who became real friends to you. Savannah, Marin, Jarrell, everybody from college. I'm not trying to take away from the fact that before all that, we were hurting. But once you say that hurt made us stronger or wiser?
I guess, yeah.
We don't need a future version of ourselves to come rescue us. They did that for us. I know it may seem incredibly cinematic and possibly cathartic to have your future self tell you that everything will be okay because they're literal living proof of it. But everyone here has given you a reason to believe that everything is okay. And even if it won't be at times, it will be again. They will make sure of that for you. And you'll return the favor.
Holy shit, can I hug you?
Hold up. If we make physical contact, time will collapse on itself.
Oh. Okay.
Plus, I'm still a little weirded out by the kissing question. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little weird.
Okay, I get it. You don't have to bring it up again.
Matt.
Can we just drop it? If anything, it was going to be a funny joke that you would have laughed at,
Matt,
and I would...
almost time.
Oh, okay. Well, it was nice hearing from you. Jesus, I don't know what else to say. Listen, is it against time rules if you just like take a pic? Sure.
Whoops, forgot my shades. And my gun.
Were you just gonna walk out when you had to leave?
Well, I have to walk back to my time. Anything time travel works.
Not like that.
Whatever. Look, I gotta go. So do me a favor and don't forget to stop recording. You've done everything that you've had to so far, so good work.
For the longest time, I wished that some part of my life could be viewed as inspiring, entertaining, or noteworthy. But I didn't know what part of my life this would be. I came to terms with the idea that there probably wasn't going to be anything that I could speak on that was worthwhile. And then, the funniest thing happened.
Because you're there when I awake, and then you give me the lights of day. Because the children with you can play. I think I am 'cause when I speak, you're always there. You even listen what I can tell, 'cause you're my gospel, my daily bread. That's why I think I am.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt. You may know me as Matt, who beat cancer before he learned how credit cards work, or Matt, who beat cancer before he did his taxes for the first time, or Matthew, or Matt, who beat cancer before he finished, the list goes on. I'm 22, I am a survivor of cancer. In the past, I've made the mistake of telling people how I found out I had cancer, and the reason why I consider that to be a mistake is because people nowadays think that I can tell them if they had cancer just because I had it. So instead of getting into the details, we'll say for the sake of theatrics and simplicity that I was bitten by a radioactive spider. I think we have a clip of that, right?
Okay, come here. Come here. Ah! Okay, where the fuck? Okay. Gotcha. Oh no, still moving. Oh, it's on my shoe.
After the spider had bitten me, I had noticed some irregular changes going on, so I went to go to a doctor, and we knew that there was a chance that I had cancer. It could be an infection. We didn't really know at the time. Worst case scenario would be like cancer, but let's hope it's not that. We won't think about that. Yeah, well, knock on wood. That's fake wood. What? Boom, Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 3. Thank you. I was diagnosed January 19th of 2021. This was right before vaccines were coming out for COVID. And so we were in the thick of the pandemic. And because my immune system was going to be very weakened by chemotherapy for 6 months, and we were in a pandemic, I was told that I really couldn't go outside or go anywhere, see anyone. So I wasn't in school, I wasn't seeing friends, and the only time I could really leave my house was if I was leaving my house to go get chemo once every 2 weeks. So here and there, I would make video diaries, just checking in with myself, seeing how I'm doing. And then I made them more frequently and for longer amounts of time each time. And in terms of the content, there is a lot of levity. This is a positive movie. It has a happy ending. I'm sitting right here and I'm talking. I'm not dead. There are moments in this, because it is a movie about cancer, where I am very real with you all, and I'm not really sugarcoating much because I didn't want this to just be like, oh, I had cancer and the entire time I was fine. Most of the time I was fine, but I wasn't all the time. So there are some moments where, I'm having a breakdown, but it's like me having a breakdown in a movie, so it's better. I've come to notice after my journey that when people, either adult or young adult, adolescent, whatever, if they have cancer, they tend to latch on to a piece of popular culture or media, whether that be wrestling, a hockey team, Batman, Spider-Man. Mine was Spider-Man. I always liked him as a superhero because he looked like me. He was a skinny white guy with cool hair and glasses. So really, it wasn't until last year that I had Spider-Man become a core part of my personality, and I became the person that I am now. So really, this is my origin story. There are positive points to these video diaries, and there are some sad points. So, it's a mix. It's the good and the bad of this journey. And I hope we all learn something and make some friends along the way. I don't know, I'm talking for too long. I'm just gonna let everything roll ahead. So I hope you enjoy this. Thank you for watching so far. I'll be back later. Goodbye. Hello, world. This is me, a sexy beast about to become even sexier. Day 14 of being on chemo. Hair is falling out, so we're gonna get rid of it. Let's just jump right into it. I don't even know. I've never shaved my own head. I've never even touched this before. It's probably for animals given the dog on it, but bottoms up. Jesus Christ. All right, here we go. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, I love it. Oh, we're doing so good. We are doing so, oh wow. Okay, we're gonna do a little jump cut here. It's not actually, I do look hideous right now just because like it's not done yet, but I don't hate it. Like, come on. And we got it. We got the fresh cut. I don't know if that even covered the back of my head, but there it is. We're still not done. We're going to do razor and shaving cream because right here, where I have like my 2 birthmarks where my blonde hair usually grows in, it just looks like I'm balding, and we're not about that life, so stay tuned. Around that time, there were these videos trending, kind of still are now, but less so, of Get Ready With Me, where it's like, get ready with me as I'm a photographer and such, or get ready with me as I get ready for an audition, whatnot, on TikTok, where, you know, you get into daily routine videos, stuff like that. I was only 2 infusions into my regimen, and I had just started to lose my hair. I had just shaved it, obviously, and I was handling fairly well. And I didn't know how long that was going to last, so I figured, well, while I'm having a good time, or at least like I'm handling it well so far, I'll just make like a get ready with me video on TikTok where I'm just talking about like what it's like doing chemo, because the thing is, like, chemo was very underwhelming in terms of how scary I thought it was going to be. I always compare it to Breaking Bad and how he's shoulder to shoulder in chairs with other people, and there's like echoing drum effects as the water in the IV bag is dropping, and it's always dimly lit, and the IV is like a piss yellow color. Maybe it is sometimes, but mine was always clear. I did have one that was like red, but like transparent red, not like blood. That was called the Red Devil. I only know that because Marcy told me. We'll get to who Marcy is later. But yeah, I had like a divider, like a whole wall in between each patient and I had a TV. I never used it. And I had like this comfy recliner. I watched Marvel shows. I tried to brush up on my German for Duolingo. I can only say stuff like Ich bin ein Mann, wir essen Brot, but that's beside the point. So really, I wanted to show how like this was something that I thought was like one of the worst things that could happen to someone, but it wasn't that bad. And I thought that if I showed that to other people, that could be helpful. Typical Dave getting chemo. Trigger warning, chemo stuff. I wake up around 6:30 a.m., which to me feels like 3 a.m. to a normal person, but it's okay, because I get a coffee at the Dunkin' before I head to my healthcare provider. On the way, I play my Spotify playlist Absolute Bangers to help the coffee wake me up. And then I'm in my chair getting chemo through my port, which is like a tube that was surgically put under my skin that's connected to my jugular vein. I feel none of it. This is my little IV buddy that I get to take to the bathroom with me. To make myself feel good, I watch a musical montage I made of my friends and I, and then I work on a Dance Moms presentation that I'm doing, do not ask. Then after a few hours, the very nice nurse tells me I'm all done and I drive back home. So yeah, not scary at all. Everything, even cancer, is manageable when you have great friends supporting you in your life. But if you're going through, I recommend reaching out to a good friend. It makes everything 10 times easier. I'm also bald because I was losing my hair. By then, I probably had like around 30 followers on TikTok. And so there was another trend going around where you take the song No Roots and you make a montage of you and your friends, and you have like little bios for them, and like as the beat hits on each like person, you do a freeze frame, it goes black and white, and you give them like a funny little bio. Mine was
1,000 times. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots.
And then that started to blow up. That's around nowadays like 600,000 views. And that was the first video that I had that like went viral, if you can call it that. And it was really, really addicting to see all the comments I would get, which were mainly people being very forward and how they thought me and my friends looked, but we're not gonna get into that. And so I thought, hey, I now have like 2,000 followers just out of the blue, like over a couple of nights, and I have cancer. And I just made a video where I'm talking about how cancer isn't really that bad so far. So I thought, I wonder where this could go. Can I still make videos where I'm talking about positivity through hardship and people will get that? So I kept doing it. Good morning. For me, at least. It is 5:17 right now. I know that for me, whenever it's late at night and my brain is too active, I can't, voice crack, I can't, like, just fall asleep by trying. So I need to do something. So I'm gonna watch the sunrise. So update, I don't think it's gonna show up. I mean, we have this, I think there's just too much cloud coverage. But I was going to just kind of give up there. But then I had like this John Green inspirational shit came into mind, which is, I came out here, I woke up I didn't wake up on purpose at 4:30 in the morning, but I did get in the car and drive a half hour to see a sunrise, and the sunrise didn't show up. But still, I have like this beautiful sky here, and that's life, you know? You may not get what you want, but you get something, and you just gotta appreciate what you have. 2,000 of you followed me, so now you just have to listen to me ramble. Hello, beautiful people. This is my streaks now. So guess what today is? It's Wednesday, but it's also chemo halftime show, going in for chemo infusion number 6 out of 12, halfway done. So this is the official, this is a Super Bowl of cancer. Beyonce's gonna be performing, I guess Lenny Kravitz too, if we can get him. Stay tuned. And so at the halfway point of chemo, I was still feeling pretty okay. I had some dips here and there, but they were overall manageable. And when I had those albeit mild dips, I thought, you know, I'm doing pretty well with this so far. I thought that like this would be crushing me. Because, you know, post-diagnosis, I was like, okay, I have cancer. I'm not in pain, so like, what's really so bad about this? They tell me that I'm gonna be okay as long as I do treatment. So I thought once treatment starts, maybe then like I'll start to not be okay. But I was halfway through. And so I thought, you know, I deserve a little treat. So I decided to get something for myself that I had wanted to get ever since like I started having like an actual flow of income, but never had until this point. And so the first TikTok that I made with it it had the text, "When cancer stops you from looking like Peter Parker, so you have to compensate." Come back. Just go right there. Right there. No, don't keep going. I have waited my whole life for this moment. Right now I feel a big mixture of excitement and fear. Last time I had, oh boy, something like this was like when I was 6. Oh, it smells like packaging. Oh wow. Oh, it's there. Oh wow, okay. Ooh. It smells so bad, but it's Spider-Man. So I am the CEO of the company. I am sweating so much. It's such a hot day out. Oh my God, dreams do come true. I am going to be a swimming pool when I get out of this. I may have to take this to the dry cleaner. Can you take morph suits to a dry cleaner? I don't know. But see how this goes. Oh, it smells like Amazon. The shipping company, not the rainforest. Can't really tell because everything's just so white right now. Oh, I see it's white. Where are you? So, I will not be wearing anything else for a long time.
And I miss my lover.
1, 2, 3, But you can't do this to me. I started this company. You know how much I sacrificed?
I had a bit of a depression slump that I'm still in. Had been for like the past week. Basically, the things that come with having cancer are starting to get to me, or more so than they have been. For example, I don't like how I look. I've always been like content with my appearance. Before all this, not so much now. I miss having hair. I miss having eyebrows. That's a big one. I don't like having dark circles under my eyes. And before all this, I was already underweight, and every day, little by little, I am losing weight. And as much as these things suck, and they're things that I don't want to be happening, you know, they're temporary things. They're not going to stay here forever. My hair will grow back. I will get eyebrows again. And when chemo is over, I will probably be able to gain weight easier. I can actually work on that. Instead of focusing on what I don't have, you know, I make the best out of what I do have. You know, I reach out to friends to stay in touch with people, even if it's just online. That's the best I can do. You know, I watch shows that I enjoy. I treat myself to things that I like. I make videos on the internet where, you know, the goal is to make people feel a little better about their day or about themselves. And, you know, sometimes I get a comment that says that I did just that, and that feels good. So, you know, there are still good things going on. And, you know, even though I have bad days, you know, I just have to remember that that's what they are. They're bad days. They're not, how I'm feeling now is not a reflection of how I'm handling everything, because this is just like, this is the first time I've actually like felt emotionally bad in a while. So I guess I was due. You know, we all have to like have our lows sometimes, and you know, we can't, we won't know what the good days are like if we don't have the bad days.
Hello, I felt like doing video streaks again. Chemo round, oh my god, my eyes, wow, they're dark. Alright, chemo round 8 out of 12. Simplify fraction, that's like, okay, that's 4/6. Oh, we're 2/3 of the way, look at that. I didn't even realize that. So yeah, after this would be 2/3. I have like this button-up shirt that I just got because I can only wear button-up shirts when I'm doing chemo, so they can access the port, and like it's short-sleeved. I don't have that many short-sleeve button shirts. So having cancer probably is one of the best things to happen to my fashion sense. Yeah. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
Hi, I made a playlist of songs that would be used in the soundtrack if they made a movie about me. It'd be something totally never done before, something that people would like, and you know, never seen anything like it before. Here are some of those songs and when they would play. What are you guys doing here?
Hey Matt, it's us, your friends. We just surprised you because you beat cancer. This is the part of the movie where you beat cancer. Now you're gonna hang out with us. It's a wholesome moment. We're all from New Jersey, yeah.
But I am tired of pretending that I am someone who I am not. And I don't care if I have to prove to anyone who I am. I'm not gonna prove anything. But I am tired
What's he saying?
of pretending.
I don't know,
that I
but
am
like it
someone
sounds
who I am
profound.
not. I may not be the best version of myself, and I won't do everything that I wish I could. But I'm me. And that's okay. So what are you gonna do now, man? You know what? I don't know. But I'm okay with that. Wait, didn't you steal this idea from another TikTok? I did. And I'm okay with that too.
Sarah runs, feel the
So yesterday, I asked out a girl, probably think what was the first time in 3 years. Didn't work out. We did get let down gently, but it's fine, you know, we're still friends. And what's funny is that I thought that, you know, having cancer would be like something really that would like affect the whole outcome of whether or not, you know, the decision, and like if it was a yes, you know, cancer would like be a wrench in the whole thing. I was worrying about nothing. I mean, like, I didn't get a yes, but it wasn't because of cancer. At least I don't think. So that's good. You know, as much as it does seem disappointing, after the talking tour, I thought about, you know, how in Spider-Man 3, Peter Parker, he just like kind of fucked up his own life because, you know, he was wearing the black suit the whole time, which was like making him a douchebag. I was never a douchebag at any point. I didn't like fuck up my life. But, you know, after all that, in the movie, you know, he like, he has to finally like, you know, save the day again and like put on the red and blue suit and, you know, be himself, but also like do what's right. And he doesn't really want to do it, but he knows he has to. And I'm not gonna like go out and save anyone from a burning car wreck or anything, but I am going to like, you know, continue to power through and fucking make cancer my bitch. So yeah, still 21 and evaluating every life decision I make after a guy in spandex. So I'm also 75% of the way through chemo after today. Yay for me. So last night I had a stroke of creativity. I decided to write my own verses to a song that already exists. I took That Funny Feeling by Bo Burnham, wrote my own verses. I kept the choruses. The choruses are the same as they've originally been written. I tweaked the outro. I'm okay with it. I think it's cool. I wrote it about having cancer, you know, getting it, dealing with it, how others deal with it. That's what I got. Oh, and TikTok has like caps on how long videos are. So I'm just gonna say what I just said, just condensed so that it will fit, because I'll be putting this on that. Hi TikTok, this is me. This is That Funny Feeling, but with my verses, it's about cancer. Enjoy. Countrywide hospitals search, what could be the harm? Working on your mental health, lumps under your arms. Deadpool's diagnosis, feeling dizzy, making jokes. A week of seeing every friend break the news, try not to choke. There it is again, that funny feeling. That funny feeling. There it is again, that funny feeling. That funny feeling. Taking several bathroom breaks, thinking you might faint. Pricey drugs killing your cells, but hey, your nurse is a saint. Videos on TikTok telling people to have hope. Only getting recognized when you fall into a trope. Day 14, losing your hair, shave it off outside. Someday your eyebrows will go, nothing left to hide. Who is that stranger in the mirror on your shelf? I don't know what you're saying, you still look just like yourself. There it is again, that funny feeling. funny feeling. There it is again, that funny feeling. That funny feeling. Sleeping till the afternoon, going for a drive, and ordering the same coffee each day to feel alive. Full arachnophobic decisions made in your life, entirely based upon a guy shooting webs and tights. Hey, I know this might be weird, I heard about the news. Remember that I'm still around, if talking is something you choose. Isn't it funny when the people who didn't care want to cleanse their conscience when you and I are beyond repair? There it is again, that funny feeling. That funny feeling. There it is again, that funny feeling. That funny feeling. Hey, what can you say? It's a lot to go through, but it'll be over soon, you wait. Hey, what can you say? It's a lot to go through, but it'll be over soon, you wait. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey, what can you say? It's a lot to go through, but it'll be over soon, you wait. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey, what can you say? It's a lot to go through, but it'll be over soon, you wait. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That was take 2. I think that was good. Let's hope I keep it. Here's a little bit of Jeopardy trivia for you. Antepenultimate is a word that means third to last, and then penultimate is second to last. I learned that when I was like in elementary school. I didn't remember it. I had to relearn it, but like I remember like first. Point is, and then ultimate is final, like the last of something. So today is my antepenultimate chemo infusion. 2 weeks from now will be my penultimate. The final one, of course, be the ultimate chemo infusion. Makes it sound more intense and hell yeah. Yeah, so third to last today. We got 12 in total. I'm trying to think of like some kind of sequence that exists where there's 12 of something other than the 12 days of Christmas. I don't even know what number 10 was that I can compare this to, like 10 ladies leaping or something. Yeah, I think there were 12 disciples with Jesus, or were those apostles, or is that the same thing? Is there a difference, or were there 10 disciples or apostles? I don't know anything about religion. Jarrell, if you're watching this, you're on this private story, so if like you're paying attention, could you please let me know? So like please, yeah, I don't know what else I was gonna say. And the penultimate, time to get that fucking bread. Having cancer happened at a funny point in my life. I noticed the spider bit me in December of 2020, and those months leading up to that, there was COVID. COVID sucked. Online school was happening, completely asynchronous. I didn't do well with that. And then I had a death in the family, and then my dog died.
and my mental health was just very much not there. So I was struggling, and then I got diagnosed, and somehow like something just switched in my brain. I don't believe in like saying like, oh, just cheer up, and no one told me to cheer up, but just something happened in here involuntarily where I was like, well, it can't get much worse. I was kind of like, at rock bottom, so the only way from rock bottom was up. And as all of these different hardships prior to cancer happened, I started to like fantasize that my life was like a movie because, I'm like the main character because all these bad things are happening to me. I started to like, that was my coping mechanism, just thinking like, okay, this, I had a really bad day, but if it was a movie, it would have been a good episode or a good scene or whatever, because it's good for the plot. That's what I always say. If something bad happens, it's good for the plot. And growing up, I never really had like an activity or something that like, I wasn't into sports. I did one season of Little League. I never really like had a hobby that I was like good in, or there was nothing really like about me that like, oh, this is Matt and he likes to do. I didn't have any of that growing up. And so not to bash on my sister, but she was very good at horseback riding and doing horse shows. Good on you. I'm not taking this away from you. And so a lot of pictures in our house were of her, jumping horses and whatnot. And I didn't have pictures of me doing anything because, I wasn't doing anything, and that's on me. So I didn't really like have that much hype surrounding me. Like, oh yeah, Matt, you're doing great, because I wasn't doing anything. I was a very passive child in my childhood. And so 2020, all this stuff happens, and it wasn't individual to me, most of them. COVID was affecting everyone. The death in the family was affecting the rest of my family. My dog dying affected the rest of my immediate family. But then cancer happened, and that was only affecting me. At least I thought. It did affect other people. But when I started to handle it very well, I started to get hyped up, and people are saying, Matt's doing really well. Good on him. I'm really proud of you. And that did something to me. It felt really good to go through something that you thought would be very bad, but ended up being very manageable, and people are complimenting you a lot and giving you a lot of attention because they think that you're going through a hard time, but you're really, it's weird. I had a hard time taking credit from people whenever they would commend me for how I was doing, because I wasn't really struggling. Like, I did have my problems, but I managed through them. And I didn't know if I was just managing through a lot or if I was just going by on what wasn't really a lot. And so I really liked being told that I was handling things very well because of cancer. And then I knew that cancer wasn't going to last forever. So this is the part of the movie where it gets pretty upsetting. If you are watching this at home and you feel like you don't want to watch this part, it's going to be 7 minutes. So you might want to just jump ahead that much. If you're in the theater with me, you can walk out. I won't judge you. But I knew that I wasn't going to have cancer forever. I didn't think I was going to die. That was never a thought post-diagnosis. My expectation was that I was going to end chemo, I was going to go in remission, and then I wouldn't really have anything to have people compliment me for. And I love attention. I don't really get people, I don't relate to people that hate attention and hate having eyes on them. I love it because I didn't really have it growing up. So it was tough to comprehend that I was getting a lot of attention, a lot of hype, a lot of compliments for 6 months, and then I knew that that was going to stop eventually.
I have a lot of thoughts in my head. I don't know which order to get them out. If there is going to be a limited series on HBO about me, 90% chance there won't be. But, 10% chance that there will be is pretty generous. But if there was one, then people are going to have to be, in a theater, or in this case, their living room, watching me have breakdowns, because, that's life. And so I got to get comfortable with people just, watching me break down. But anyway, I wasn't feeling well today, because I was having, some kind of existential crisis. A lot of you know that, as I just said before, I see my life as HBO limited series. And the thing is, with limited series or movies, they end. And I don't think mine would end when I die, because holy shit, that'd be a long limited series, or just it would cover so much time.
that like you couldn't really like get into the nitty gritty of like each time period of my life. So it'd just be like, you know, when Matt is in college and he has cancer, and it'd probably end around the time like when I stop having cancer. And the world is fine again, because that's like how that's the arc would close. It's Matt gets cancer, Matt deals with cancer, Matt is done with cancer. And the thing is that in real life, you know, life's gonna keep going past the point where the limited series would end. And the fear that I have is that what if everything is so fucking boring after that point? And I don't mean to be like, what do you want, Matt? Like, you want to have cancer again? No, I don't. But like, I don't know, I guess like, in no way did I want to have cancer. And before I got cancer, I saw my life as like limited series. Like, you know, I was joking around with friends and like having like Google Doc experiments of, you know, who would play who and whatnot, what would be in each episode. And then I got cancer, and then like, you know, life became more cinematic because like that's something, you know, life-changing that happens. And what if like, once that's over, like what if my life becomes less cinematic after that point? I'll probably still have things going on after that, but it may just be a while, and it'll be a while of like, nothing. Or it just feels like nothing. And it's such a shitty thing to think, to me, and I don't want to think like that, because there are still good things going on. But like, in all honesty, with all of this, you know, cancer is kind of like put the pause button on a bunch of things like school. And like, that's something that I am so fucking scared of. I'm very lucky that I've been handling cancer well emotionally. You know, everyone, there seems to be a general consensus that like, oh yeah, Matt could be doing much worse, but he's not, and that's good. And like, you know, my cynical way of thinking has me thinking like, okay, yes, it is very good that I am doing well with cancer. But what if like I am doing very well with cancer, and realistically speaking, I would not be able to handle anything else outside of cancer? Which is a weird thing to think, because like, what's worse than cancer? And I guess there are things. I'm sure there are. Like, it's gonna be a very bad way to put it, and it'll probably upset people. But what if I was put on this earth to just handle cancer well, and then once I'm done with cancer, I'll just be useless, because I won't have cancer. Wow, am I saying that like I need cancer to matter? I guess I am. You know, I'm like on this high of like, yeah, Matt has cancer, but he's doing really well. And then like, you know, I go back to school, and then like I re-enter society, and I handle all that shit terribly. And like, maybe there's a learning curve to that, because like I've been out of the game. I have 2 more infusions. 1 more where it's just gonna be me, and then my parents will be at the last one. You know, I'll ring a bell, and that'll be a great cinematic moment. I'll be fine then. You know, like, relatively speaking, because I'll be probably crying, because it'll be an emotional moment, but it'll be objectively, if I can say that, it'll be objectively fine, because, you know, it's good for the plot. But then, like, after my last infusion, and then after I get told, Matt, you don't have cancer anymore, and then after I get my port removed, then it's just back to basic things. And I will just be like a person. I'll be like an okay person. I think that with cancer, while this is happening, I have a better image of myself, because I know that like things could be much worse, and that like, you know, I'm doing better than like the average person with my circumstances would. I'm not saying just cancer, but like, you know, everything else that I've gone through. I'll always have the fact that like I handled cancer well. I guess I'm not remarkable, or I'm afraid I won't be. And like, I don't know. I have like this like each of these statements that I'm saying, there's a voice in my head that I'm hearing that is saying like, oh no, that's not true. That's not true. And it's either me saying it or someone that I know, if they heard me saying this, that they'd be saying like, that's not true. You would be remarkable, you'd still be. I've had friends tell me that like seeing me chug along, that like I've inspired them. They've used that word, inspired. I don't feel inspired by myself. I have been, but I feel like that's gonna stop, and it's starting to stop. I have been, but I feel like that's gonna stop, and it's starting to stop. Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. I always wanted to make that joke. I think it's so dumb. But anyway, that was sad. If you don't think that was sad, I don't know what you think would be. I should know. I was there. That was me. Yeah. At the time of me filming this right now, that was 3 days ago. As you can probably tell, I'm a little better now. I was kind of like in a weird state when that happened, when I was filming that. I drove north for an hour, and then, wow, that was a 2-hour drive? Didn't feel like it. On the way back, I listened to myself playing That Funny Feeling, my own version, the one that you just saw on this, on loop, and I just kept singing it to myself. I might have been going crazy in that moment. Or maybe I just like needed to hear myself talking about things. I don't know. When I got home, I started to edit it, which was a bad idea because then I just got really sad. And you know, not to like beat you all over the head with like depression, but you know, the thing is like that happened and I'm fine now. As you can see, there were a bunch of funny things and like not really funny, but like, you know, positive things so far that you've seen in this. And you know, as that's the thing with things in life, you know, there are good sides and bad sides. You know, I hope I'm not beating a dead horse, but you know, with cancer, there are good things and bad. It was the first thing you saw in this video. You know, this is the good and the bad of this journey. So you're probably wondering, how did I get out of that? I went to, it was like the next day after that, I went to hang out with Guy. Guy, if you're watching this, hi. And I kind of just like mind vomited that, but like in front of a living person with a pulse. And that helped. As it helps with most things, like venting to other people who you know will care. So that helped. And then Guy gave me his 2 cents because he's like one of the most philosophical people I know, aside from Teddy, who is a different type of philosophical. He is batshit philosophical. This isn't about my friends. It is about my friends, but it's not about this aspect of them. So I started talking to Guy about everything. And then like, I knew that because that clip wasn't finished yet. I just finished it today. I knew if I went back to it, I would just start feeling bad again. So I needed to wait until I was in like a better place to revisit that. And then I went to hang out with some D&D friends, Tim, JP, Tom, Savannah. That helped too. So, you know, moral of the story is get the shit out that you need to get out in front of people that care. That's what worked for me. And yeah, I also knew that, you know, probably the next thing, one of the things coming up after this clip will probably be me talking about my penultimate infusion. And I didn't want to like, you know, be talking about the penultimate infusion right after that and just like have the whole audience like have no time to recover from that. So hopefully you've had time to breathe. And I'm sorry if some of you cried. I'm probably like, I don't know if I'm being full of myself if I'm assuming that I made people cry. It was a sad song, was it not? But hopefully you've had a second. Yeah, here's the next clip. Like I said, I do have trouble giving myself credit for going through everything with as much dignity as I had. But chemo, I knew that chemo was a wild card. I didn't know how manageable that was going to be before it started. I really was expecting the worst for that. And without any hesitation, I owe the fact that I handled chemo so well to Marcy. Marcy's my chemo nurse. She's probably sitting next to me right now in the theater as I'm showing this at the premiere. If I'm not sitting next to you, Marcy, know that I was going to, but some circumstance changed and either someone wanted to sit with me or what have, I don't know. I'm planning to. Anyway, I knew that chemo could very much shift the whole way that I was handling everything. I didn't know how bad it was going to be. I've heard very bad things about it prior to starting it. I knew that I was going to lose my hair and my eyebrows and everything else. By the way, when you lose all your leg hair through chemo, chemo sucks. But having no leg hair and not having to shave, it's awesome. But we're not going to talk about my leg hair. So I was pretty afraid that chemo was just going to be the time where I stop being positive and I really get to feel like, okay, I have cancer and this is what cancer feels like. But it never happened. And I thought that my first infusion, the first day of chemo, was going to be a terrible day. I was going to go in with my parents because they call it teaching, where you're getting your first infusion, you're learning about all the drugs that you're getting and all the side effects. You know, if this happens, call 911. If this happens, call the nurse station. And I went in by myself. It was COVID, so I couldn't really bring a friend either. I was scared of chemo, admittedly, I was scared. And I was walking in alone, and I was gonna be there from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., a few hours, a good chunk of the first half of the day. And I was just ready to, face the beast, knowing that I may crumble. But I sat in the waiting room, and a very nice woman opened the door, called me in, and introduced herself as Marcy. And I could tell from the way that she spoke that she was a very kind person and had a very welcoming presence about her. I'm looking right now for reference at a recommendation letter that I wrote for Marcy. You don't know about this, Marcy. You're finding out about this right now. There's a thing called DAISY, which is like a recognition system for nurses. The place where you work, Marcy, doesn't pair with DAISY. So unfortunately, I wrote this whole thing for you. Maybe I can send it to you one day. But I tried to get you a DAISY award, but your place of work does not partner with them. So they said oh wow, you have a great nurse, but sorry, we can't do anything about that. I tried, I'm sorry. And so the first day of chemo, I was in my chair, chilling. Marcy would check up on me to make sure that my IV bags were going okay. She would change them out every now and then. There were certain drugs that I had called pushers. And, I didn't even talk about the port. The port is this little guy in my chest. I always saw from Breaking Bad and everything else that you get chemo through your arm, but apparently that's bad for your arm. So I have a little thing right here that has a catheter, not right now, but a catheter would go into the port, and so it goes to my jugular vein, into my heart, and it spreads out through my body so I don't lose function in my arm. And so for the pushers, they were basically, imagine a drug, not in an IV bag, but in a syringe that would then connect to a catheter, which would then connect to my port. And Marcy would have to sit down next to me and manually push them slowly and clock it to make sure that she was doing it at the right pace. And so in the beginning, sitting next to someone you don't really know that well, we made small talk. I did the best I could. I'm sorry if it was awkward. But then later, of course, we started to bond, and I'd show her things that I was working on, whether it be TikTok or stuff here. Marcy became a very, very good person to know. And I ended up looking forward to every infusion that I had, because even though I would get vertigo where, my head would turn and then my brain would catch up to it and there'd be a delay in what I'd feel, or I'd get very nauseous. I threw up one time, twice, once at the infusion center. No matter how I was going to feel at the end of an infusion, I knew that it was going to be worth it because I would be able to talk to Marcy and I'd be able to have a laugh with her and tell her what's going on with me and update her on everything. And so, the hype that comes with cancer and people telling you that you're doing a great job, I knew that Marcy wasn't going to last forever. She's alive now. She's well. I'm sitting right next to her, I hope. And I was seeing her once every 2 weeks for 6 months. And at the end of 6 months, I didn't really know what the norms were. Could I visit her? Would she want me to visit her? I do now, of course. We have that figured out. I had basically a involuntary lifeline, whether Marcy knew that at the time or not. No matter how bad I was feeling, I knew that when I was in her presence or when she was taking care of me, that I would feel taken care of. And I knew that that wasn't going to last forever. So I was coming to terms with that.
Oh wait, okay. So I hope you've all been paying attention. By the way, I'm not in my normal setup. Not in Freddy, the Mercury. Freddy is currently getting his headlights fixed because a deer decided to run out in front of me a couple nights ago. So now we have Madre's car. But anyway, I hope you've all been paying attention because we have a pop quiz. Today is chemo infusion number 11, the second to last. But what is the word for second to last? I said it in the last infusion video, so just shout it out. Anyone can say it. I'm not gonna say it because, well, not like me, like watching it with everyone. Like I'm gonna say it, but you know what I mean. Okay, you've had enough time. It's penultimate. Last time was antepenultimate. This is the penultimate, and then 2 weeks from now is the ultimate. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I was packing my things to get ready for this morning, and I was packing my nausea medication that like I take on an as-needed basis. And it's like supposed to be really strong stuff. I've heard that like it's like the toughest of the tough. Like it's you only get prescribed it if you're on chemo or giving birth. I know that one for a fact, not from experience. For the giving birth part. Anyway, I have the same container that I was given when I started chemo. I think I had the option. I know I could refill at any point. Of course, given that I got through everything medication-wise, and I think up to 3 times I could get refills. I may be making that up, maybe. But I'm only like halfway through my first container that I got, which is like, I know I'm on an intense regimen, and the chemo medication is supposed to be like tough stuff because it's supposed to help with like what, you know, I'm being given, but I've only used like half of it. So that like gave me a philosophical question of when someone accomplishes something out of the ordinary in a remarkable way, do we find it remarkable because they did it or because they struggled to get there? You know? Like, think of it this way, like a billionaire. Let's say I'm an immigrant from like a second world country. I come to America and like I'm an entrepreneur and I grow my own business and I become like Jeff Bezos or whatever. That's awesome because, you know, I'm like climbing the ladder and I'm climbing the ladder of success. I'm making my own worth. But if I'm Donald Trump and I get like a small loan of $1 million from daddy and then become the president, well, that's, you know, you were just born into success. Like you had things to help you along the way. Now, I don't think that analogy matches up with mine quite so well. But what I do mean is that I don't feel like I've been struggling through the nausea that much because the fact is that I just don't get nauseous that much. I did get like here and there, and I always tell people like it's 14 days in between infusions, and it's 4 days where I feel shitty, 10 days where I'm feeling completely fine. But in those 4 days, like I don't remember the last time I took the medication. Because in those 4 days, like, it sucks, but it's manageable. You know? And, like, I think that's great. I think I'm very lucky that, like, I don't have to take the medication. But should I commend it's not like I'm not condemning myself, but should I commend myself for that? Or is it just, you know, something that's out of my control? Like, I just, you know, I just handle it well, just 'cause, you know? It's not like I'm refusing the medication when I need. That was just such a good dog that I just passed. Oh my god. It's just one of those things where even if you're handling it easy, it's still something that is tough in general. So you kind of just go with it and say, oh, well, you know, let's give him props because why not? Like, what are we going to do? Tell him, you know, gatekeep patting him on the back because he's just lucky? I don't know, I thought that was an interesting thing. That was a whole tangent that I just wanted to get on. So yeah, this is the last infusion that it'll just be me, because the next one, I'll have my parents showing up. I told them like 10 or 11 a.m., like a couple hours into it, because I'm in the chair for like hours. And so this is just gonna be the last time it's just Marcy and I. Marcy's my nurse. I talk about her sometimes to my friends. Very, very nice woman. Probably one of the nicest people I've ever met. I think like she's top 2 nicest people I've ever met. And granted, I realize that I wouldn't ever be in a situation where I could see an unnice side of her, because she's my chemo nurse, and like it's her job to be my nurse, but she doesn't have to be so pleasant, you know. She's just she's very personable, and I very much appreciate that. I always tell people that makes the difference. Her and Eric from the Writing Center, they're top 2. Again, Eric's someone I've never had a chance to see their angry side, but anyway, whenever I get like 3 chemo drugs, and 2 of them are called pushers. Those are air quotes. Pushers, and that just means that Marcy has to like have a syringe and manually push them into my port through like a tube. So she has to sit with me for like a few minutes, and during that time, like in the beginning we made small talk, but later on we evolved it into like show and tell. There was only one infusion where she wasn't there. That's because she was on vacation. And so when she came back for my next infusion, you know, she gave me her phone, and I was scrolling through all her vacation pictures, and you know, I show her some of the videos that I've done here as I've been making them, and I showed her like the Spider-Man video and whatnot. We have like that as an inside joke, not really inside joke because other people know about it, but a running joke, if you will, about Spider-Man. She once showed me a picture of a dude in a Spider-Man suit reading the newspaper on a rooftop, and she's like, "Oh, this made me think of you." I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So during this show and tell, I will probably, I always bring a deck of cards, not because I expect to play with anyone or play solitaire. I don't have enough room for that. But I figured like, oh, if I could show her a card trick during one of these pusher sit downs. So I'll probably do that because it's like the last chance, unless I want to do it in front of my parents when they're with me. But yeah, I'm gonna show her like the one card trick that I know, get a good laugh. I already showed her that funny feeling. She's like the first person I showed, maybe. And yeah, I also I showed that funny feeling to the virtual open mic people that I've been hanging out with recently every week. They had a songwriting forum. I played it for them, and I told them, you know, like, yeah, it was received very well. They really liked it. Yeah, it just sucks because Marcy's, you know, as I described, one of the nicest people I know, and I very much enjoy talking to her, and it's very comforting to talk to her because she's just very pleasant to be around. And it's probably the second to last time I'll see her for a while. I didn't know like the norms when it comes to your chemo nurse, if you can see them after you don't have cancer. I found out that another nurse, the one who like substituted for Marcy when she was away, Sue, she has someone who visits her every year. But still, like once a year, that's not a lot. So yeah, it's gonna be an emotional day. 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. This is over. Hopefully. Because, you know, I'll be ringing a bell. I'll be signaling the end of treatment. I'll be hoping that I don't have cancer. And it'll be the last infusion, most likely, that I'll have with Marcy. And I wrote Marcy a letter thanking her for everything. You know, because it's one thing to do your job as a healthcare provider, but to just like go above and beyond and just be very, I don't know how to describe it other than just like very pleasant, you know, just being a good person. In the letter, I compared her to Spider-Man, even though I do that to myself
with her. I quoted, I don't know when in the movie this happens, but in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, this is a weird part to cry. Peter Parker says, "It's not about saving the world." I'm fine. It's not about saving the world, it's about saving one person. And I say this to her in this letter that I'll be giving to her on my final infusion, that even if, you know, being nice to me was the only good thing she ever did, I think that, you know, that made all the difference, you know? You do one good thing, and it could lead to a million other good things in a chain reaction. Fuck, the phone went. You know, I don't think that I'd be handling all this that well if it wasn't. Okay. I don't think I'd be as positive if, you know, the worst part about having cancer, you know, getting infusions wasn't such a bad thing, because I knew that I'd be talking to someone who I'd like to be around. And if I wasn't okay, you know, I wouldn't have made stupid TikTok videos. They're not stupid, I'm just belittling myself. But, you know, where someone said, you know, that they saw my video and they felt better because someone they know is going through chemo, and they weren't talking to them because they kind of shut them out, but they knew that, you know, they were okay because they saw me being positive. You know, if it wasn't for Marcy, I don't think personally that I would have made that video and that person wouldn't have been comforted. So I told Marcy that in the letter, and yeah. It is 8:47 right now, and I'm pulling into the care mount. I'm gonna have to, like, pull myself together. Marcy's gonna open the door in the waiting room and be like, "Hey, Nat." I'm gonna be like, "Hi, cannot break down. Not yet. I mean, I can, but I don't want to." I kind of thought that before starting this video, that I would end up crying. And part of me was like, "Oh yeah, do it. You'll get the full Bo Burnham inside feel." So yeah, there you go. But you know, it's not a depression sob. It's a happy sob. You know, how great is it that that anyone gets to meet someone, even for 6 months, to know them that long. And even if they have to go away, or you're just not going to see them for a while until the next time, that you get this emotional when you have to say goodbye, because that's a meaningful experience. So I am here now, in Caramount, that is. Yeah. This was one of the longer infusion videos. I'll have to chop it up if I can. See you guys in the next episode. So I've joked around with my parents, and I think other people, but mainly my parents, that, you know, the thing is, like with my regimen, chemo, we don't check the progress at all until it's over. You know, plan is to do a PET scan after last day of chemo, and you know, some regimens, they like do scans along during treatment, but not me. I guess they're very confident with what they're giving me. So the joke that I make with my parents is that I could be cancer-free right now, or have been for like days, but I'm still gonna go for my last day of chemo because, you know, we have to pretend that, like, you know, I still have it. It's like the theoretical way of thinking, like, you know, I would have had cancer up until the day of my last chemo infusion, and then at that point, you know, it's out of my system, or maybe it'll like still be in my system. The chemo will like get rid of the cancer days after. Point is, theoretically speaking, this is my last day of having cancer. because tomorrow will be my last chemo infusion, and then that day I'll be cancer-free. I don't know if chemo like does things like the day of, but it's my way of thinking. You know, life is what happens to you, and then what you make of what happens to you. So this is me making of what's happening to me. So, in the spirit of having cancer for the last time, hopefully ever, to my cancer cells, who are, I guess, if they're anywhere, they're like in my armpits. Hey guys, to my cancer cells, I'm sorry, but you know, you cannot live in my body rent-free anymore. The only thing that does live rent-free are Vines and TikToks in here, and useless trivia of Spider-Man. So anyway, I thought that this might be a good point in the spirit of things to transition to the letter that I said in the last clip that I wrote for Marcy, my nurse, because, you know, tomorrow will be the last time that I'll see her for a while. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there is a part in it that I think would be worth sharing. So, towards the end of the letter, this is what I say. I say, I do feel like surviving through cancer in my early 20s has granted me some life wisdom and new perspectives, albeit I still have much to learn about the world. But if I don't have that, then I definitely at least have an excuse to make people think I do. Whichever one is true, I would like to share with you what I have learned from all this. These are things that I believe are good to follow. Some I do easily and some with more difficulty, but they're important to remember. 1. Whenever they happen, give yourself credit for your achievements and good qualities. Whether you handled having a bad day well or greatly impacted someone, recognize that this is a good aspect of you, and let yourself sit in that moment for a bit. 2. Setbacks are temporary and good learning moments. I don't believe that everything that does not kill us will make us stronger, but I do believe if we work on ourselves and bettering our situations, those things can make us stronger. 3. Subjectively speaking, the best feeling in the world is helping others. The second best feeling is being told by someone that you helped them and that they appreciate it. Doing an act of kindness can change your day by a lot. 4. We as people are way more capable than we give ourselves credit to persevere through hardships. Taking a deep breath is an underrated method to get us to keep moving forward. And 5, friendships are one of the most vital things in life. It is so important to show friends that you value them and to surround yourself with your type of people. Life is too unpredictable to be spent with people who just aren't good for us. So, only one thing left to do now, and that's go in for chemo tomorrow. So yeah, see you in the next clip. As much as this is a moment of me getting through all this, it's equally about all the people that got me through this as well. Thank you for being positive and keeping me positive through all this and my medical bills. Marcy and Sue, I cannot thank you enough for everything that you've done. Dr. Twista, you as well. This is for all of us. So today was my last day of chemo, as you can tell from the chemo shirt, courtesy of my grandfather. Thank you, grandfather. I thought that like I'd be emotional when I would ring the bell. It was a great moment. Don't get me wrong, but you know I didn't cry until when I got home, because my nurse, who's been with me through all this, she has done every infusion with me. She handed me like a little envelope. I was like, okay, she got like me a greeting card or something, but she said that I don't usually do this for patients, but like I saw this and I had to get it for you. So I thought like, okay, it's gonna be like a Spider-Man birthday card or something, like something funny, because I always joke with her about Spider-Man and how like he's what like gets me through all this and whatnot. And she showed me, for context, this picture that she found on Instagram of a dude in a Spider-Man suit reading a newspaper on a rooftop in New York City. And she's like, oh, this made me think of you. And I was like, oh, that's funny. I opened the card, or the envelope, and it's not Spider-Man. It says, victory is yours, congratulations. Something like, okay, interesting. I wonder where this is going. It's probably just gonna be like a little nice note. And then there's like a piece of paper, don't really know what it is. I put it aside at the time. And it says, "Dear Matt, congratulations on making it through a huge chemo regimen. You were a pleasure to take care of. So excited for you to go and live your life now. Got you a little something that may help you recreate that Spider-Man pic." And I'm thinking, what the heck? Like, what could this possibly be? My nurse got me a voucher for a, what is it called? A sky deck? So she, she wants me to recreate the picture because she knows I have a Spider-Man suit on this thing. She went out and got this for me. And she said she doesn't usually do that for patients. And holy shit, I started crying. I told my mom, she got teary-eyed, and my dad, he got emotional. Just goes to show, guys, just always be nice to each other, because you have no idea how much you can affect someone. I was hoping that by the time I was making this video, I would have some hair on my head. Alas, we don't. Still rocking the bald look, though. Hair is growing in places on my body. My eyebrows, for instance, we have some growth there, so yay! I mean, we don't have to deal with that, not having those anymore. I do hope that the humor that I use in this does come across in a positive way, and is not I don't think it's offensive, but at least not cringy. Because humor has definitely helped with this whole thing, especially in the beginning. I told my parents this was either the day of my diagnosis or the day after. I wasn't gonna ask for a huge party or something when I eventually beat cancer. I wasn't looking for some extravagant Make-A-Wish equivalent. Just get me a t-shirt that says, "I beat cancer," and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. Because one, it's funny, and two, I thought it'd be a cool thing to get. So that's pretty much this has been from the beginning. So this is week 7 of being off chemo. Doc said that it would be around week 8 that I would be chemo free. He said it'd be around week 6, which would be last week, that I'd get some hair growth over here. I'm getting peach fuzz. You can't see it on camera, of course. We went to see my oncologist because I had a PET scan done, and the PET scan was to see if chemo had worked or not. So we went to see him, and of course, got no sleep the night prior. And so I was driving by myself on the way there, and I was listening to the soundtrack for what would be used in the coming of age series about moi. I was thinking, my nerves were going all over the place. I was really nervous. I didn't really know what to think or what how to feel. As I'm playing these songs, which all have different meanings to me, God Only Knows by the Beach Boys starts playing. And that was very comforting. One, because it's a good song. Two, because the reason why I'd want God Only Knows to be in my biopic is because that would be playing at the end of it as things are wrapping. Hey, buddy, as things are wrapping up. And it's showing that things will be okay, or things are okay. It's a song about positivity. It's a sweet song. So as I'm driving there, it's as I'm pulling in, God Only Knows starts playing. And I'm thinking okay, if things aren't okay, then at the very least they will be okay, because that's the whole thing about coming of age endings. Things may not be perfect right now, but usually there's the theme of there's hope that things will be better. And so we went to see him, and he basically said things are looking good. I think you're in remission, but there is one thing on the PET scan that I don't think is anything to worry about. I think it's probably just, this is his words, I think it's just chemo affecting your body. He said he did want a second opinion from another doctor that we had spoken to see what they thought, and if they were okay with it, we just go ahead with regular checkups that anyone would do. But if they thought it was something of concern, we do a biopsy. We just had that call this morning, my parents and I, with the second opinion doctor. Yeah, so they basically they said what they had to say, and long story short, I finally get the t-shirt now, which is very nice. I'm really looking forward to when I'm in public places again and I can wear this, and people read it and they're oh, congratulations, but also that's kind of a weird shirt. I'd be yeah, I know. Good thing I asked my parents for this. This is honestly I'm digging it. It's good. So this is pretty much over. I mean, of course this will still affect me, and I'm just I'm not back where I started. like at the beginning of this, I'm definitely like phased, not scarred, I wouldn't say that, but definitely changed in good ways. You know, when people would talk about people who either died of cancer or beat cancer, they would always call it like they're fighting cancer. It's a fight, it's a battle. And I didn't really understand that when I was like growing up. I thought that, you know, how could you fight a disease? Like, I don't fight the common cold, you know, I'm just laying in bed, I take my medicine and I do whatever. And I think partly people say that people fought cancer or fight cancer or that they won a battle with cancer, partly because cancer is a shitty thing. Because, like, you know, it's not easy having cancer, of course. I've come to realize, at least for me, that there's the aspect of you fought cancer because it's a good thing to say, but there's also because it's not necessarily that you are literally fighting cancer. You are not just like, it's not like I tense up a muscle and then my body fights the cancer cells more. I think it's more of just like it's a mental and emotional thing. I definitely could have in the beginning and throughout all of this, I could have given in to, you know, negative feelings such as fear and depression and isolation. I definitely felt all those things, you know, I'm human. But I did what I could to lessen those feelings. And I used, you know, coping skills. I used friends. I reached out to people because I think that's what fighting cancer is. You are fighting not necessarily cancer, but you are fighting the emotions and the hardships that come with cancer. And you don't let those get to you, and you move forward and you move on, and you do everything that you can in the face of this thing that you're going through. And, you know, I don't think that this is necessarily something that is just unique to cancer. I think this could be applicable to anything. Just the theme of, like, you know, not letting terrible things get to you, because, you know, terrible things will get to us. We're human. You realize this sucks, but this is what I can do to help, and these things I can't change. And this is just what's gonna happen. I also was not expecting this whole movie that I've been making to be so long. Sorry if you're getting bored by now, but at least we're at the end now. So after like spending months on making this, I kind of wish that like I had made more video diaries like post-diagnosis and beginning of chemo. You know, you take what you can get. But I was thinking, like, you know, I put so much work into it, like on my computer right now, like as it is, it's like at around an hour. It's going to take forever to export. But I thought, okay, I put so much work into this, I have to make the ending worthwhile. So I thought, like, there's so many different ways I can end this. Which way is the best? And I don't know if there's a name for this type of ending, but it's the type where, like, text comes on the screen during a freeze frame.
I'm hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it, let it take you away. And be hopeful, hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay, cause we hope.
Could you imagine if I ended it like that? Oh my god, all the hard work and then just to end it, oh my god. No, I'm not doing it like that. That would be a funny way, but not the best way. Sorry. Hello. Whoa, hold on, slow down. Come on. What's happening? Where are you? I'm coming. Another great way to end it, but I mean, it would kind of be off topic. I just wanted to give something kind of that my parents could uniquely enjoy about this. Something that like they could just would be special to them, because we've been watching The Sopranos recently. We're like in season 2 right now. We started a while ago. Even though like I haven't finished it, spoilers for The Soprano, mild spoilers. I know that it does end in a way where like they're just talking and then like in the middle of a conversation, I'm kidding. Stop it. No, I wasn't going to do it in the middle of a conversation with myself. What? No. Come on. I'm not that dumb. Like, it has to be something fulfilling. I did think that to end this, it has to be something creative. So I did think that in the spirit of, you know, this, that I should do like a funny little video or skit or whatever, just to like, you know, serve as a metaphor for me kicking cancer's ass. So this is a video that I worked on, and yeah, here you go. So how you liking the hair loss? You know, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I gotta admit, I do miss having hair. Are you gonna keep it the same as before, or change it up a bit? If I'm being honest, I kinda wanna grow it out. Really? Yeah, like the Timothy Chalamet guy. Like, I think I can make it work. Well, I guess we'll see if you ever get to that point. Can I ask you something? Yeah, shoot. What's the end game here? Like, I know what will happen if you win, but like, is there a motive? Like, it's just, I feel like you're just doing things for the sake of doing things. Like, it's as if all of your cards just say more cancer, but there's no real reason why, you know? Some people, or in this case cells, they do things so that they can keep doing things. You know, you go to school so you can get a job, so you can get money, so you can get food and a house, all so that you can just keep doing those things over and over again. I do what I keep doing so that I can keep doing it. Well, you won't have to anymore. Well, you can't do this to me. No, it's okay. There's more in the back. How is this okay? You stole this from Kill Bill. Like you said, I do things so I can keep doing things. How do I look? You look ready. Nice.
He's the guy who's the talk of the town.
I know. That was great, and it was funny, and it could have ended it, but still not perfect. This really is something that needs to have like a chef's kiss ending. What I really thought would be a great way to end this is kind of similar to the ending that I had for the coming of age series that someday I'd like to make about myself. I don't know if it'll ever be made, who knows, but I can still make ideas. Here's the pitch for the series finale of my biopic series. After everything is resolved and I've beaten cancer, after everything's like wrapped up in a nice bow, it's dusk, and me and my friends, we're like at a park somewhere or outside, it's somewhere naturey, and everyone is like, you know, playing some kind of like handball game, I don't know, something physical. It's like everyone's here, and then over like on a hill or somewhere is like me and Savannah. And the reason why it's Savannah is because Savannah was the first friend I made at Duchess, so it's just like poetic, I don't know. And so we're watching them like goof around and whatnot, and to like end the series and this on a poetic note, I'm telling Savannah something that I really want to make apparent in both the series and in this, which is, if there was ever going to be a time where I had to have cancer, and I don't know if there's such thing as fate or destiny or a sacred timeline where things are supposed to happen, but if there is one, and it was just a matter of when I was supposed to get cancer, at least so far at this point in my life, this would have been the best time to have it. And not because, I mean, yes, I'm old enough that I'm not going to be traumatized at a young age, and I'm young enough that I'm not going to like have a tough time recovering. But in terms of people, this is the best time of my life where I've known good people. You know, if I had cancer in high school, no, would have been bad. And I don't think, like with family members, I don't think that people such as my grandfather or my aunt or my sister, I've never had like very bad relationships with them. I've always had good relationships with each of those people. But I definitely strengthened those relationships, I think, through this. So I cannot be more thankful to those who I'm probably showing this in person, this movie. Thank you for like, you know, being there. That meant a lot. And also just being a good person, whether we were talking or just hanging out or something. It really is important who you choose to be around in life. And, you know, friendships, connections, relationships, so important. Not to like beat a dead horse, whether it was just like me showing up to hang out with you or like me venting about my life crises, it all means a lot, so thank you again. And so as I'm finishing up this grand speech to Savannah in this series finale, I look over at the rest of our friends who are like down the hill, and I turn to Savannah and say some generic coming of age shit like, I don't know what they're doing over there, but it looks fun, let's go join them. And then my favorite song starts to play, which is pretty much the reason why I wanted to make a coming of age series, just so I could have this song in it. And the reason why I love it so much is called Sarah. The reason why I love it is because of the same reasons I love God Only Knows, is because it sounds like everything's okay, but if it's not okay, it's at least going to be okay. And it's just a song about like, I don't think it's about reassurance, but it makes me feel reassured. And so as the song starts playing, you know, we get up and we go over and join them, and it's this big nature shot of dusk. It pans up to a sunset. And someone once told me, Matt, you're never going to appreciate the sunsets in life, you're only going to see gray skies in everything. I think this is a pretty good sunset.
Sarah runs to feel the burning in her lungs, clear her head. Do you know what Sarah meant when she said you be my guest? To keep the faith, to save your faith, you'll never make the flames. Why do you even run the race? I can't be what you need. I am stuck in a dream. I am stuck in a dream. Don't you know she's been here all along? In a dream, she belongs in a dream. Every day I'll make promises that play in Sarah's heart, so I can watch her fall apart. 'Cause I know when I break her down, we'll sit on all the happy clams that live around this sunny town. She loves me like a dog, and when we mess around, I'll let her know the truth I found. And my own hope would fade, and every time I wake, I second guess the game I played. Did I make a mistake?
You know, I guess one person can make a difference. Enough said.